All right, everybody, we're back after a week hiatus due to my midterms. We're here in the cool spring rain with lots of little plants growing.
Yeah, it looks like we can harvest these parsnips. Do you mind if I do that for
Yeah,
that sweet, sweet farming
you
XP?
got to get that XP. I was
Mm-hmm.
wondering in my head if those were potatoes, but
They
alas,
are
they are
parsnips.
turnips. Parsnips?
Parsnips.
I've eaten parsnip, but I don't remember what they taste like.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever had them. Do we have more seeds? I cannot remember. It has been so long since we played, you guys. I don't know what's happening at all.
I don't think that we have anything else we wanted to plant besides our mahogany seeds, maybe, when we cleared enough land for them.
We do have lots of seeds in this chest, so I am in favor of just planting what we have.
Okay, yeah, great.
You okay with that?
Uh huh.
Um, let's see. So I'm gonna do some more parsnips. I got 4 golden parsnips from that haul just now.
Wow.
We need one more for the quality crops bundle.
Okay.
Um,
I have a cauliflower somehow. It might have been in one of the letters that I just read. I'm not sure.
oh, cool. I'm gonna plant some cauliflower as well.
Emily wants a fresh apricot.
Ooh, I have one from this tree here.
Oh, I forgot we planted an apricot tree.
You want me to toss it to you?
Sure. Yeah, I'll see if I can figure out who Emily is.
I believe in you.
Thanks.
She's got blue hair. Can't miss her.
Is it possible to be struck by lightning? We're seeing some lightning, but
It is thankfully not in the game though. Just real life.
that was the worst interpretation of that question, Berkeley.
I don't know. I bet I could come up with worse ones. No, you're right.
I'm
It
tempted
was
now.
context clues.
Now I want to know.
No, as soon as I said that, I realized I was bluffing, and then I tried to back out, but it was too late. I had already said it.
You had to double down, but you couldn't. Okay, I'm in Emily's house right now.
Hey, she's the one in the red dress.
Roxanne. Emily stole your red dress. Roxanne. Okay, well, I can't access her because she is hanging out staring at a Luma fabric.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
I'm
she
just
does that a
I'm
lot.
gonna sit at her dining room table and wait in the
And
dark
wait,
for her to come out.
I have a fresh apricot for you. Come out of your room.
Oh man. Okay, so that would work on me probably.
What?
Yeah, if you
In
brought
what
me
way? Like as a way to kidnap you, or
like
a way to romance you?
yeah,
That was a legitimate question, not a joke.
maybe both. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I think the voice is fun and funny.
Mm-hmm.
If it's dark and I think I'm home alone, that's a different story. But like if I know that you're there, I'd probably be okay with that. You know, you brought me a fresh cookie or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you followed through. Thanks. This looks delicious. You are welcome, Emily.
I like how she says followed through as if you had ever agreed to the commitment. She just sent you a letter saying, bring me stuff.
That's a great point.
I
Are
feel like not
we
doing that doesn't count as not following through.
are we like held hostage by the town? Because they're just making demands.
Hmm. I think they just know that we want it more than they do. It being this
Oh,
whole vibe we've got going.
we're pushovers who can't stand the thought of conflict within the town.
Yep,
So we're
that's it.
working to eliminate it.
And tools and JojaMart while we're at it.
So I can sit on benches. Can I ride this turkey? Whatever this is. I
I
can.
don't think you can. Oh, you can?
What?
Whoa.
This is amazing. Wow.
The game changer.
All right. Very cool. Can I climb the thing? No. How about the swing? Oh, I can sit in the swing. Berkeley, come sit in the swing with me.
Okay.
This
I'm
could
on
be
my
our
way.
new, like, picture.
Man, I'm so slow. I bought a horse, and I think I mentioned this on the last stream. I bought a horse on my personal save that I'm playing right now, and so now walking anywhere feels so slow.
Wow.
Hey, you grabbing a screenshot of that?
I got two just in case the rain was in the way on one of them. This look at us. We're like super emo kids just sitting on the swing set in the rain.
Yeah, the emo Harry Potter movie started out that way.
That's so true. That's a great point. Except I don't think it was raining, was it?
No, it was very, very dry that day, which is not true to England, from what I've heard.
No, although this year they've had quite a bit of dry weather and fires, I think.
Oh, shame.
So probably you can blame the Ministry of Magic for ignoring that Voldemort's back
Yes,
if you wanted to for that.
absolutely. I'm going to.
So Berkeley, you know what you're doing, but what should I be doing right now?
I do not know what I'm doing. We haven't played in 2 weeks.
Okay, I'm gonna buy some bomb materials and I'm gonna blow
Okay.
up more trees so that we have more space to plant more things.
That sounds like a great idea.
Thanks.
Do we... So we could buy some summer trees to get an orange and a peach
That is a really good idea.
for the artisan bundle. Or we could instead get one summer tree and one fall tree. Because we'll need a pomegranate eventually.
Okay. What if I immediately start fishing? We buy the summer trees now, and then we buy the fall tree as soon as we can.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
In case you guys didn't know, fishing is basically the biggest moneymaker when you don't have tools.
Yes, that is true.
So, Berkeley, we like to talk about philosophy, about thinking, and about different people's outlook on life. And you were reading a book talking about how different actors in a system influence each other. Is that
Yeah,
right?
I like the words that you used there because we were joking before the stream about how I say humans there instead of actors, and it makes me sound like I'm not one. Yeah, so this is a book I read a while ago when I was in grad school. I wrote down the name. It's called The Human Network, and it's by Matthew Jackson. And the subtitle is something along the lines of how your social position influences your. No, I'm butchering this. I'm sorry. How your social position determines your power, beliefs, and opinions, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the premise of this book is, oh hello, Control Alt and Delete says beep boop because I don't sound like a human. I'm assuming it's the context there.
Or maybe he's not the human.
Ooh, are you blowing up trees right now?
No, I'm fishing.
Oh, okay. Somehow there was a bunch of wood and sap on the ground.
Lightning strike, maybe?
Maybe. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to talk about this book before I get distracted again. So the premise of this book is that people don't notice how much they're influenced by the people around them. And the people around you actually have a huge influence on how you see the world, how you interact with the world, the opportunities that you have. And it's not just who you know, but it's how your community is organized. And I can give more detail on that later. But I want to jump into a few examples. So one thing that he talked about that I had never thought of was a concept called homophily. And that is the tendency for people to interact with other people that are similar to them.
Mm-hmm.
And this has been observed and proven across lots of different demographics. So you, as a white male in your late 20s, are statistically going to be more comfortable interacting with other people that are your same race, your same religion, your same age, your same gender, your same occupation, that have the same interests as you. Basically, any attribute of yourself that you can think of, researchers have looked at and found that people tend to prefer to interact with other people that have all the same qualities.
Interesting.
And that has a lot of ramifications. I think an obvious one is the way that gender and racial biases have continued to be a problem in business. So, like 60 or 70 years ago, when it was not possible for a lot of people to have access to the same jobs that white men would have had access to, a lot of companies got founded and people got promoted, and now a lot of companies are run by predominantly white and predominantly male workers. And those people tend to promote people that look like them because of homophily. And so that's why, even though laws have been fixed for a long time, there's still a lot of racial and gender bias in a lot of companies.
And this is for myself, and hopefully not a bad question to ask, but when we talk about bias, so there's conscious bias and there's subconscious bias, right? Or I don't like saying unconscious bias, but like bias you're not aware of. And so we see these set up. So the law has changed, right? So now it's not legal to overtly be biased in the way that you hire. But do you think that there's still do you think that association is a conscious bias thing that we are aware of, or do you think that you would put that more on the subconscious level?
Yeah, good question. I think you can definitely become aware of it, but it would be easy for it to go unnoticed, I think.
Mm-hmm.
An example is that when I was in high school, the majority of my friends had either the same religion as me or played the same sport as me or both.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize at the time how much those two things, the sport that I played and the religion that I was part of, influenced my social circle. Like, I was aware that if you had asked me about it, I would have known that it was a factor,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think I would have recognized the extent to which it was a factor. Does that make sense?
It does. It does, and it's interesting to point out that it's so easy to not know, right? And you don't know until you do. So it's not like you could have changed it without first having that realization, I guess.
Yeah, and even once you know that it's a phenomenon that exists, you can't immediately just know all the ways that it affects your life and your outlook on things.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was one example, and I'm glad you asked that clarifying question, because this is like a hot topic that affects a lot of people in a lot of different ways. So I don't want to inflate too many ideas all at once. And yeah. So if you're interested in this topic, definitely read what the experts are saying. Don't just listen to me. But I'm trying to pitch this book. Another topic in that book that really surprised me was the way that we adopt opinions of people that are in our social network. So social network, not referring to something like Facebook, but our whole community that we're part of. So everyone that we interact with directly and indirectly, or the friends of friends that we have.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing that I learned from this book is that humans are fairly good at assimilating the opinions of the people around them and aggregating those opinions. So if I'm trying to decide if, say, being a computer programmer is a good career or not, Humans are pretty good at chatting with their friends and family, thinking about the people that they've seen and the things that they've observed, and kind of synthesizing all of those opinions, and then coming in with their own conclusion that is based on their own values and the opinions of the people around them. What we're not good at is understanding where our friends' opinions are coming from. So an example that I gave, well, I don't know if this is a direct example from the book, but an example of that phenomenon is, let's say a celebrity tweets something about what a good career computer programming is, and 5 of my 10 closest friends all see that tweet and are influenced by it. And then when I ask my 10 closest friends if I should be a computer programmer or not, 5 of them are very enthusiastic about it because of this tweet that they saw. What I've done is I have seen one person's opinion, the celebrity that made the tweet, and interpreted it as 5 people's opinion, my 5 closest friends. Mm-hmm. And in today's age of social media and the way that news works, this is really, really common for a bunch of people to get an opinion from one source or from a few sources, and then to have that look like it's everyone's opinion. And humans just aren't equipped to deal with that psychologically. We don't think about that, and it's hard for us to estimate the effect that our friends of friends have, or the people that are influencing the people that influence us.
True. That's such an interesting factor, I think, because, and not only because it's right, you can't estimate it, you don't know that it's happening necessarily, but the barrier to entry to be that person that's doing the influencing is so low now. You know, it's fascinating to me. So I've written a lot about fake news because when I started school, Trump had kind of won his initial presidency, and the investigations surrounding Cambridge Analytica and everything else was coming out and were being published at that time, and so that social network idea where you're getting information from your friends, but they might be parody, they might all be using the opinion of that same one source, so you don't have 5 samples, you have 1 sample, but it looks like 5, is even more of a problem in the internet era, right? Because anybody with a little bit of production skill and enough time can show up and appear legitimate and use the persuasive techniques of persuasive writing. I'm struggling to remember the names right now. We've got ethos and kairos and pathos and logos, and those rhetorical strategies do a lot, and the psychological value of being an anonymous but official looking person on the internet is underestimated, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me just give a disclaimer. I'm not saying this so that people will be frightened or think that they can never trust anything again. There's definitely a part of my mind that has been less confident ever since learning these things. But I think the real good takeaway here is just to be a little bit careful, both with the things that you're saying and the things that you're hearing. Know that just a little bit of analysis can go a long way in offsetting some of these biases that we have. So it's not at all hopeless. It's just a thing about humans that it's good to be aware of. Right.
And if I could add to that, I would say that the goal in any discussion like this for me is to just try to actually think, don't just accept stuff, try to think about it and reason about it, because you might agree. You might say, oh yeah, well, I think that this actually makes a lot of sense. I like this idea, or I trust this idea. But if you haven't thought about it, then kind of that's where problems come in, I think, is that you're just kind of following the flow, which isn't in itself problematic, but it can be problematic if the flow is taking you somewhere you don't want to be, I guess.
Control Alt and Delete in the chat says that official looking person on the internet is his new favorite title. If you want to 3D print a little placard of that, I think make a lot of friends that way.
Definitely.
And if I may, I've just got one more phenomenon that I learned about in this book.
Yeah.
Unless you had any more thoughts on that.
No. Go for it.
Okay, and then I'll drop this book report. So the last thing that was interesting to me that I'd never thought of is that opinions spreading through a social network spread a lot more effectively if that network is really dense. So if everyone in a group is friends with each other and has more interactions with the people in the group than the people outside the group. This is stuff that I've been thinking about for years, so please stop me if I start saying words that don't make sense. But basically, if all of your friends are talking to each other most of the time, it's a lot more likely that you will all end up having very similar opinions to each other. And conversely, if an entire population, so let's say like the population of the US, if the whole country is made up of lots of little pockets of people that exclusively talk a lot to each other, then the population, or sorry, the opinions across the whole country, they tend to be a lot more varied. So if you're in groups that are tightly packed, your opinions are closer to the people around you than they would be otherwise, and farther from the people not around you than they would be otherwise.
So if you look at a map, and this is, I don't think we can make a conclusion from this, but it's interesting to see how the coasts and the large cities tend to be more left-leaning politically, and that everywhere else tends to be a little bit more right-leaning. And I think there's a lot of different venues where this could be true, where you have a lot of interactions with a tight-knit group that all interact with each other. I think that traditionally churches have been a big vector for that type of interaction and ideas. But I think today, the internet, the ability to control what you see on your feed or to have algorithmically fed to you what shows up on your feed in any given app is so interesting because without even trying, you kind of already have set forth your interests. And then, you know, if you know people IRL, do we want rice shoots, by the way?
No, we can sell those.
Okay, so then you know people IRL who are maybe interested in the same things or maybe do the same things as you. And so you've got kind of a compounding, amplifying effect. So geographic proximity definitely appears to me to still play a huge role, but I think it goes beyond that into any sort of interaction.
Yeah, those are great examples. So I think historically, geography would have been more important than it is today, although it's still really important. Who you interact with online, faith community is also a great example. Just to bring it to something less serious, you could imagine if you are a fan of, let's say, Weezer, and 90% of your interactions are with other Weezer fans, you're going to become more and more extreme in your Weezer fandom.
Yeah, that's
versus true. If you kept that down to like 30 or 40% of your interactions are with other Weezer fans, you will end up being less similar to the people around you and more similar to the whole country, let's say. So yeah, that's super fascinating to me, and I think it has a lot of ramifications for like the political problems that we have today.
So not to beat a dead horse, but I wonder if how do you say this? I don't want to be offensive to anybody, but there's kind of a stereotype of the basement dweller who only interacts with people on the internet and tends to have sexist views and could be potentially hateful and feels a lot of anxiety surrounding their social interactions or responsibilities, like trying to have a full-time job or whatever. There's a lot of if you've ever heard of 4chan or you've ever read a green text, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you can just say Reddit mods.
Reddit mods, Discord mods, all that fun stuff, right? The internet, there's an internet subset of people who hold these fringe ideas. I would like to think they're still fringe ideas. I hope they're still fringe ideas. But they interact with people who encourage them and treat them as comrades, right? There's camaraderie there that they don't get from other sources. And so that probably really strengthens, like, these mechanisms that we're talking about probably strengthen that relationship and strengthen those ideas. And over time, like you're saying with the Weezer fans, they diverge from like the common or average views of a society towards their own isolated pocket. That's fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're curious about this, if this is sounding a little bit fishy or too extreme to be true, I encourage you to read the book. There's definitely details that I'm missing. But one of the things that I loved about the book is they showed like the math behind how you can predict all of these trends. There's lots of cool graph theory stuff that demonstrates it. Doesn't prove it because like math and people are different, but explains it in a way that is maybe more plausible than I'm describing right now.
Yeah. Can you share the title one more time?
Yeah, it's The Human Network by Matthew Jackson.
Okay. Yeah, I might go pick that up. It sounds like it's right up my alley. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, that's a good one. And with that might be enough serious chat for the stream. We've taken up almost half our time with my book report. Thank you for indulging me, everyone.
Oh, I see a fishing spot. You know, I never upgraded my fishing rod. I'm still using the bamboo pole. With
I am too.
Lures, nothing.
Yeah, if we were using bait, fishing might become more profitable than it is right now.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I wonder if we could do the math on that, because you have to manufacture the bait, which would take time.
We have so much bait just sitting around, though. From all the times
you probably save it from the chests and stuff. I usually sell mine because I'm too lazy.
We can also craft it from bug meat, which is also readily available.
Oh, okay. Yeah, actually, we did save a ton of bug meat, didn't we? Oh, were we talking about trying to use our traps to get trash for one of the challenges we had? Do we still need to do that challenge?
We completed the challenge really, really quickly by...
oh, yeah, fishing in our little lake.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got that challenge just a couple days later on my personal save, and it was about twice as hard with only one person.
Huh.
Imagine that.
It's funny how that math works out.
I'm curious, folks in the chat, what have you been up to? Any good media that you're consuming? Anything big or good happening in life?
Or little.
Or little.
While we wait for those replies, I just want to take this time to plug an app that I started using last week and have really enjoyed. It's called Libby. I'm a big audiobook guy. It was called
Last Week.
What?
I thought it was called Last Week for a second. It sounded very cutting edge.
It allows you to travel back in time and relive your most humiliating moments when you should be sleeping. No, so I love audiobooks. I have had an Audible subscription on and off for close to 7 years now. I really enjoy the service, But as a student, I have to try to budget and be smart with my money so that I can afford to go to school. And Libby is a neat service because it allows you to take a library card, and if your library or your state has a library that supports it, you can enter your library card information into the app and then access the digital media of that library from your phone, and specifically books for now, although they could expand it feasibly to include the movies and other things that libraries often have. But I thought that was really cool because now I have up to 5 books that I can have in my account at a time for free. There's no subscription cost, and if there is, it's going to be through your library rather than the app because the app is free. And I get to support my library by upping their usage statistics so they can get more funding, and when they get more funding, then you can get more books. So it's like a self-improving cycle.
Yeah,
and
nice.
The only downside is that my particular library, I live in the boonies of Washington, very rural. My particular library only has about 40,000 titles, and I'm pretty selective about what I like to read. And the other problem is that when you go to reserve a book, there's limited copies available. It's not like Audible where you just have it. You do have to place a hold if the number of copies that are allotted are currently being listened to. But you place a hold and then they send you a notification and it's yours. So it's easy to use, and it does a good thing by making sure that libraries keep functioning.
Yeah, that's awesome. That sounds like a great app. It's so weird because we don't have anything like libraries being created right now. It's such a extreme socialist idea to have a place that is funded by the government where you can just go get free media.
Yeah.
So it's like jarring almost to hear about a new modern way to access library materials, but that sounds super cool.
Yeah, the idea of libraries is very much not in the capitalist way, unfortunately. But there's so many ideas that I think could really benefit our society, like libraries have. And I don't know about you, Berkeley, but when I was a kid, my mom would take us to the library every summer. Like the first week, we'd go to the library and we'd get like 6 or 7 books. We could get movies, we could get audiobooks. And, that would kind of be what we would consume to keep our minds active during the summer instead of just playing so much Lego Star Wars. But yeah, that's kind of where I fell in love with it. And I'd love to see more stuff like libraries and more modernization on the concept of libraries.
Yeah, that's so cool. Thanks for that recommendation. That was Libby, you said?
Libby, yep.
Cool. Control Alt and Delete in the chat said that he's mostly been reading Red Rising and playing Tetris when he's not at work.
Red Rising.
It's okay if you're playing Tetris at work. We won't tell anyone.
But you have the right to avoid self-incrimination as well. So
yes.
Yeah, let me comment on that. Red Rising is my favorite book series. I love it. Thanks for... I think I'm the person who got you into that. So thanks. Thanks for listening.
Or you're welcome, depending on how humble Jared's feeling.
You're welcome. I've contributed the best book known to humankind.
Control also says he's going to the opera tomorrow. That sounds way classier than what you're doing tonight, unless you're doing something else cool while listening to the stream.
Or it's a Stardew Valley opera.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Berkeley, I've got a conundrum. I have a diamond that I got fishing.
Yes.
We haven't really been using our jade much.
Mm-hmm.
So the diamond could represent a big earning power step.
So the way that that works, the crystallarium, it does a good job of scaling. The more
All the
valuable the
time.
thing is, the longer it
Okay.
takes. We could start doing diamonds and selling them, though. I think as long as we do jade, we're just gonna hoard it in this chest. Um, so doing jade or doing diamond makes sense to me.
Okay. I'm not too worried. I mean, if it's not a clear economic advantage, I don't think it matters. I can just sell it.
Well, it would be an economic advantage because we'd be selling it instead of just putting it in this chest.
That's true. But if we started selling our jade,
Is can we do that?
can we?
I've got a mental block preventing that, but if you want to, then go for it.
We only have 18. Okay, that's not that much. I'm just gonna sell it. We'll get another one sometime, I'm sure.
Control says he's sadly not seeing SV2 the musical, and he said Flying Dutchman. Is that an opera? I'm not familiar with the Flying Dutchman.
It's a boat, I think. Is it an opera about a pirate boat? Because if so, that sounds way more interesting than any other opera I've heard of.
Yeah. Sorry, this is like when you volunteer to read or answer a question in class, and then the teacher just keeps calling on you.
Cursed.
Sounds like the Flying Dutchman is a German opera. That can't be right. Germany doesn't touch the ocean, does it? Why would they know about the Flying
It
Dutchman?
does touch the ocean.
Does it touch the
In the
ocean? That's
north,
so
yeah.
embarrassing for me. Jeez. Okay.
That's okay.
Or maybe it's about an actual flying person that is
That's
Dutch.
that's possible.
I guess we'll never know.
Control delete. Is it in German?
Opera is one of those things that is usually not consumed in your native tongue, right?
That would be my impression, but I've never really tried to actually sit through an opera or seek out any opera. So, I don't know.
I had to learn a little bit about opera in my music class in college. But I guess I didn't retain anything.
Me sitting down to do an exam. Huh, this sure looks familiar. Too bad I don't remember what it is.
Sounds like it is a German opera with English subtitles.
Do they got a
English...
dude at the front just holding up the cardboard with the words written on it?
They're English language operas, but he doesn't know if they really count. Yeah, I feel like that's like Champagne, right? It has to be from that one place.
From Champagne,
Yeah.
or whatever that area of France is.
Have you seen all the jokes based on that?
I haven't.
Where they'll replace it where it's not talking about wine. It'll still have that same snootiness of it's only this if it's from such and such place. My favorite example is so the word Caucasian comes from the Caucasus region that is in modern day Russia, I want to say.
Yeah.
So someone said you're only Caucasian if you're from the Caucasus region of Russia. Otherwise, you're just a sparkling white. Incredible.
That is pretty darn good.
Humor.
That would be a great dad joke to just hold on to.
Yeah.
I guess you're already a dad. You could tell that to your daughter and see what they think.
She would give me the weirdest look and then pick one of those words and try to repeat it. She's very interested in learning new words.
Man, I can't even remember most of my childhood, I feel like. And I know that I was a slow reader, so I can only imagine how frustrating it must have been for my parents to, like, deal with that. I don't know. I'm not looking forward to that part of parenting when I get there. I don't know. Maybe I think it's cool, like rewarding. From the outside, I would say that it's rewarding probably when your child learns a new word, but
Yeah, it's been super fascinating for me watching her just like learn how to talk. Um, yeah, it makes you realize how hard talking is.
Yeah, definitely
Incredible
take
that
it
we
for
can do it at
granted.
all. We had a couple more people join. Welcome. If this is your first time tuning in, we are SV Tear, and we're finishing the community center without using any tools. So if you're looking at us thinking, why are they doing things that way? Because we don't use tools over here.
That's right. And it's not that we're afraid of him. We're definitely not afraid. We're very tough, not afraid people. It's an ideological opposition to tools.
Yes, a moral opposition, you might say. So we're in year 2. Just started year 2. We finished 3 rooms of the community center, and we've got 3 to go. We've got some crops going. We till the soil by putting bombs down, and we water our crops with sprinklers.
And we use bombs to clear land, which I'm about to do right now.
Oh, nice.
Where do we want some clear land?
Let's make sure not to blow up the fruit
2
trees that I just
saplings.
planted.
Yes.
You see them?
Yeah, they're
Okay.
over by the pig, I think.
Yeah.
Don't
I
you-
love how you use the pig as a landmark because
It's
that
pretty-
thing moves.
It's pretty uniquely identifiable though, and it's very slow. He's a heckin' unit. He's a chonker.
That guy could trek if he wanted to. Sometimes I find truffles in the weirdest places. Not on this save, but on other saves. It's like, when were you over here?
Speaking of, I just found a truffle over here in the grass. So, yeah,
There you
and there's
go.
another one right here. Wow,
Oh, man.
this is
We
great.
should do a sweep on the last day of the month and make sure we didn't leave any.
Oh, are they persistent?
They persist until the last day of the season.
That's very cool.
They disappear.
All right, well, I'm gonna blow up stuff over here by the front of the barn.
Cool. Sounds good. Yeah, maybe I should have been more patient and waited for you to clear your area before I planted those saplings. 'Cause
Oh
I
no,
kind of
that's okay.
used up a useful spot.
We all know that you've got things to do pretty much all the time because I don't contribute anything besides
have to-
fishing and bombs.
Give apricots to random townspeople and catch all this green algae. Who else is going to do that?
The critical task of collecting the entire valley's green algae.
I started fishing like 4 hours ago in game, and I've caught 2 fish and 4 green algae. So that's just what I'm doing today.
Well, Berkeley, luckily for you, here at Stardew Valley Tools Aren't Real Edition, that's part of our critical mission, is green algae gathering. We're a
Gotta be
nonprofit.
done. Are our mayonnaise machines running right now?
They are complete. Done.
Okay,
I mean, done. They're done.
Refill them. So you mentioned Lego Star Wars a minute ago.
Yes.
And I have been playing the new one, which I've been very curious about. So hopefully other people are too, because I'm going to talk about it.
So the new one meaning like the latest trilogy, is that right?
So they came out with one earlier this year it's called the Skywalker Saga, and
it's
it's
all of
episodes
them.
1 through 9, yeah.
That's awesome.
And a total revamp. So I played the original Lego Star Wars, and then Lego Star Wars the original trilogy, and then Lego Star Wars the complete saga. So that was episodes 1 through 3, then 4 through 6, and then 1 through 6. And when they made the 1 through 6, they pretty much just smashed the first 2 games together and changed a few things, but it was mostly the same. With this one, they've redone all the levels. They're and like some things that were levels in the original game are not levels now. So it's like they started from scratch. So lots of new content. Definitely some changes that I like and some that I don't like. I feel weird having such strong opinions about Lego Star Wars, but that is like my most nostalgic game. I played a lot of those games as a kid, and I didn't have a lot of other video games, and so yeah, just have super fun memories playing those with my siblings, playing them by myself, playing them with friends. Um, yeah, I,
So I remember, I think Lego Star Wars was one of the first games that I really played. Like, not watching somebody play, not, waiting or just kind of seeing in the background, but actually sit down and go through and beat it myself. And I think that's part of why, for me, it's also so nostalgic.
yeah,
It just was a very innovative idea and really captured or did a good job targeting their audience, right? People
yeah,
who play Legos tend to have an interest in Star Wars and also tend to enjoy video games.
yeah. And Star Wars just works really well in a Lego world. It's a fun blend of like serious and cute and silly,
Yeah,
and then also just being able to blow stuff up with a lightsaber or a blaster just feels really satisfying.
it does. It does, but it's also not like graphically violent.
Hmm.
One of my favorite things to do was to start fights in the cantina.
Yes.
Is that still a feature? Can you still do that?
No, well, not that I've seen. Let me circle back on that. I just want to point out Susie Moo in the chat. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that in a way that you don't disagree with. Um, says that the new Lego Star Wars is so fun. My husband and I played it together a little bit, and then I didn't want to wait for him, so I played the rest on my own. Nice. Yeah, I'm playing it by myself. I don't think I would have the patience to play it with someone else. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
That's I played it with my siblings, and I gotta
Hmm.
say that it just the way that the camera stuff was handled, having to wait at the edge of the level to go to the next scene was so frustrating. I died so many times trying to jump ahead too.
Yeah, most of my fights with my brother that I can remember started with Lego Star Wars, which is a shame in hindsight because now it's like one of my treasured memories, plus a lot of really intense fights. Uh, I wish we could have enjoyed. I didn't realize I was in the golden years when it was happening. That's what
That's
I'm trying to
true.
say.
As
Um,
Go
so
ahead.
you asked about starting fights in the cantina.
Yes.
So they have like mostly gotten rid of the concept of a cantina,
What?
which is one of the few things that I haven't liked about this game, the new version. So instead, your the world is a lot more open, like the world between levels. They
Yeah.
they run you through bits of story, and you have to run to different parts of Coruscant or different parts of Tatooine, and
Oh.
um, meet people. And then as you're going through that, you'll trigger like an actual level where you have mini kits to find and objectives to accomplish.
So it's like
Um,
Skyrim Legos.
it's in that direction, yeah.
Interesting.
Or the other way to think of it is like in between levels, you're doing very, very light levels that don't involve any combat. Sometimes it still involves puzzles, and definitely involves moving from place to place. But instead of just like a cutscene before and at the end of each level, like there was in the original Lego Star Wars games, the whole world between levels is like a long cutscene that is sometimes interactive. Suzumu says the camera sharing is definitely better in this one. Good to hear. I haven't tried multiplayer, so I was curious about that. Yeah, there's been a lot of technological improvements.
That's
And
true.
Megan says it's fun to watch the new Lego Star Wars, but I'm not very good at the game. I played with my husband once and got stuck on the pod race in episode one and got too mad to carry on. Yeah, pod racing has always been hard. That was one level, gratefully, that they did include in the new game, and it is still hard. Well, it took me two tries. I feel like the original ones would take me like five.
I don't even remember playing the pod racing levels if I'm going to be honest, but I've
Really?
ran into so there's a game that has a similar camera movement and fighting style called Tokyo 42 that has a bike racing level, and it's so hard that I got to it and I tried like 6 times to beat it, and then I just stopped playing it because I couldn't do
Hmm.
it. And those racing elements in a game that's not designed around it usually don't have great mechanics, usually don't have great camera handling, and it just I find it frustrating. And when it's too difficult for me, I'm like, I could be having more fun doing something else. I don't want to waste my free time. I'm gone. I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we have done as many in-game days as we usually do, but we've only been streaming for 50 minutes. Are you good for one more day?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. I don't know if we just went to bed earlier or what happened there.
Yeah, I think we did go to bed a little earlier. For a while there, we were in the mines pushing it pretty much every night.
Hmm. And now we forgot what we're supposed to be doing, so we've been just very casual.
I'm gonna go see if we can buy. So you bought the 2 summer trees, right?
Yeah.
So I'll go see if I can pick up a fall tree. And was it pomegranate?
Yeah, pomegranate is the main one we need. Actually, we need an apple as well.
An apple, okay.
Let's see, for the fodder bundle.
It'd be
Yeah, we
kind of
need-
neat if the fall festival had bobbing for apples, or you could acquire an apple that way. Closed on Wednesdays. Pierre, for real, man.
Come on, Pierre. What are you doing?
Can I buy it from JojaMart?
That would be evil.
But
You might be able to.
it's not technically against our anti-tools agenda?
That's
Question mark?
true.
So I
I
just
think
wanna
we can
say-
wait.
I've never been in here before.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go in and look at the inside. I won't buy anything, but I just want to see what's beyond the pale glass doors.
Okay.
It's locked. Great, good. I didn't want to go in anyways.
So anticlimactic. That's hilarious.
I thought I was gonna have an amazing moment, but instead I'm gonna steal trash. At least the trash doesn't tell me it's closed.
That would be hilarious. Trash can closed on Wednesdays. Oh, I also want to just issue a formal apology to Marnie. I used to joke so much about how she is never working when you want her to.
Yeah.
It turns out there's a very logical schedule to it. She's just closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. And then like 2 other days during the year for doctor's appointments and her birthday
How
or something like
dare
that.
she?
It's just Mondays and Tuesdays. I don't know why I never caught on to that until now.
Don't you know that in our glorious American system, stopping to take care of your health is illegal? I guess this isn't technically America, but I'm proud of her. Way to go. Way to stand up for your rights, Marnie.
Oh, Susie Moo pointed out that it probably opens at 9 a.m. I think you tried before that.
Yeah, I did. I'll go back.
Eh.
I rage quit and looted the trash.
But she's not sure if you can buy saplings there. You can at least buy seeds,
So,
but we'll see if you can buy saplings.
has anybody ever planted a real life fruit tree? I've never seen one, a small one, right? I've only ever seen orchards that are already producing. Do they plant a little seed, or do they buy saplings from some place that just specializes in saplings?
That's a good question. I would assume you would buy a sapling, but I don't have any concrete experience behind that. But I feel like if they could grow well from just a seed, then you would have them everywhere, all over the place, and it would be way too dense. Like, have you ever seen an apricot tree that's just shedding so much fruit, way more than can be picked up, and
Oh,
so there's
yeah.
just apricot pits everywhere?
Uh-huh.
Or like wild apples that just drop. Yeah, I feel like the seeds are probably pretty temperamental. Otherwise, we'd just have tons of fruit trees everywhere.
Berkeley, I'm concerned. I just clicked on something that says taco sauce for babies,
What?
and I can't find it again, but for real. Where'd it go? I think there's a new cannibalism fan theory here. I think JojaMart is the great evil in this game.
Susie Moo in the chat says her parents have a few fruit trees. It's more effective to buy saplings, but even then it takes like 4 years to get fruits from the trees.
That's a long time.
That is a long time.
That's an investment. I can't find it. All right, well, I'm going to have to go look at the stream again and prove that I saw taco sauce for babies, because that's maybe the weirdest thing I've read. Well, cool. This store is just about as soulless as I thought it would be.
Can't believe Concerned Dave would make us read those words with our own eyes. Or I guess with your own eyes.
He just looks like a classic. His sprite even looks creepy. Look at that smile, man. That's just it's like a skull.
I feel like he's the most anime of any of the characters in this game.
True. I would agree with that. Not that I'm a great anime like expert, but I think that's a fair assessment. All right. How are things going for you, Berkeley? Do you feel like you are ready
using my
to
time well?
things?
No. Oh, yeah.
Cool. I'm going to grab the 5 golden parsnips and the potato.
Okay. There should be a regular parsnip as well, and a cauliflower.
There is.
Can you just get all of them? Those
Sure.
will all be in the same room.
Okay. Thank you. Then I don't have to make everybody watch me fumble for 20 minutes digging through each menu. Maybe a little bit still. This is foraging bundle, so we want to go up into this pantry area.
Yeah, so most of those will be in the spring crops and then also the quality crops.
I've just a follow-up question. This is really important what we're doing right now, but people can see this hut, right? It's not just us that can see it.
Yeah, good question. You come in here with Lewis at one point, and he doesn't seem to care that it's there. Maybe he assumes that Linus lives there?
That would be classic Mayor Lewis, to just be completely uninformed and ridiculously silly is a polite way to say that. All right, we've got 5 gold star turnips. We need melon, pumpkin, or corn next. We've got a turnip for the spring crops bundle, a potato for the spring crops bundle, and to finish it off, we've got a cauliflower bundle complete.
Nice.
Which means we get a greenhouse.
No.
Oh, sorry, that's for
the
completing
greenhouse
the whole
is
bundle.
for the whole room.
Okay, we got fertilizer, speed grow. Very cool. Are you running laps over there, Berkeley?
I am. I just wanted to camera.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Oh, looks like you wore a hole in the floor.
Yep, that was me. Oh, apparently the hut question is addressed.
Oh, really?
Susie Moose says in the cutscene in this room with Lewis, he blames the kids for playing and making a fort in here.
In a locked building. All right. Those darn breaking and entering kids. I should have them arrested.
That is some impressive knowledge just off the top of your head.
Yeah.
Wish I knew this much.
Thank you for contributing and blessing us with your knowledge.
Yes.
Okay, Berkeley, what are we going to use our fertilizer on? We've got 20.
That is a lot. So you can only use it on freshly tilled soil. So I think we are out of luck on that for this season, but in summer when we plant our crops, we can just till and then put fertilizer down.
Okay.
We've probably got more fertilizer than we'll have spots to use it on. So
yeah, that's probably true.
use it on everything. We did put fertilizer on most of these spots as well. So if you see those like small green dots in the
Oh
soil,
yeah.
it's for quality fertilizer, and that just makes it more likely to have gold and silver quality crops.
That's great that that's an option because waiting for however many years it would take to collect 5
Yeah.
doesn't seem very fun. But
Mhm.
hey, snow yams, so we're already there,
Ugh.
basically.
Yes. I did we go through a Sunday on this stream? We must have, and forgotten to go to the traveling cart. Do it
Yeah,
again.
we must have. I think it was
Oh,
probably our first day.
I can't remember if we've talked about this on the stream, but someone on Reddit told me that you can trade for winter seeds. Um, I think you'd need to trade 2 spring seeds to get 1 winter seed. So we should collect spring forageables to make spring seeds to trade for
Oh
winter
man,
seeds.
I just sold a bunch of those.
Yeah, we've got enough time left in the season to get lots.
I've reclaimed a dandelion.
Nice.
Behold. So what do you need? Do you need a dandelion, a leek, and what are those
A
little flowers? A
daffodil and a
daffodil.
horseradish.
Okay. You need all
We actually
4.
have, yeah, one of each. We
Okay.
actually have 2 daffodils in this chest here,
Okay.
in the green one.
Well, we're close then.
Yeah. I'm gonna read these secret notes real fast without actually looking at them because I put them in the chest before I had the magnifying glass.
All right. Well, it's been another great stream. We got a lot done, more than I expected by far.
Yeah. Yeah, donated a lot. Finished off that spring bundle on day 10. That's pretty good. And thank you everyone for listening to us chat about philosophy that we're not qualified to talk about other than having read a book once.
That's right. We're speaking from a place of ignorance about almost everything.
Unless we talk about code or electrical stuff. Oh, and if you didn't see my post on Instagram, a while ago I joked about daisy chaining surge protectors, which does not work. So you shouldn't do it. Well, it will work until
Until it doesn't.
it threatens your electronics.
Very
With too much
enthusiastically
of a good
does not.
time. Just speaking of being unqualified. If Jared talks about electronics, that's qualified. If I talk about code, that's qualified. Everything else, we're
Not.
just off the rails.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, Berkeley,
Ooh.
click a button. I want to see our results.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I didn't even get to see it? What?
What?
That,
was
all
rude.
right. That's rough.
Okay. Thanks,
Well-
everyone. I've been Berkeley. He's been Jared, and I'm stealing the catchphrase. This has been Stardew Valley Tools Aren't Real Edition. And we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.